Money Down NFL show presented by BetPrep with me, Brentley Weissman and Jaime Eisner. We hope you all had a great Thanksgiving holiday and hopefully enjoyed some great Thanksgiving football. For those of you that want to know all there is to know before placing your Sunday NFL Week 12 bets on spreads, over under, on game totals, or player prop bets, this is the show for you. I promise you, each show we're hoping to help you walk away with some extra money in your pocket. This week, we've already seen 3 games go down and turkey legs eaten. We always love this part of November. We had one game come down to a final kick in the Chicago Bears versus Detroit Lions matchup. I'm so sorry, Lions fans. I was hoping for you all. Kickers continue to prove their value as the Las Vegas Raiders versus Dallas Cowboys game went to overtime and was also decided on a final kick. Then there was that Buffalo Bills versus New Orleans Saints game where the Who Dat fans, well, yeah, they got cooled off after they were routed by the Bills. Something to look out for, though, in this week's game. 7 out of the 11 games today are between teams of 500 or better. Jaime, welcome back. I feel like you enjoyed during a great week. Are you ready for Week 12 of football?
I am. I'm happy to be back on the show. I got a full stomach, ready to win some money to help with those holiday gifts that are coming up here in December.
Yes, hopefully we get some good gifts in December, and hopefully we get some good games today. We need some good games. Thanksgiving, yeah, it was pretty good, but we could get better. Brentley, are you also excited for Week 12 of football today?
I'm very excited. I was telling Jaime pre-show that so far Week 12 has been great to me. I had a pretty nice parlay on Thursday. I took the under for the Bears, took the Raiders +7, and I took the Bills -6. So hoping to carry some of this good luck into today's show and get some picks right, hopefully.
Yeah, Brentley, spread some of that good luck into our boxes as well, all right? Me and Jaime want to do well, too, in this Week 12 of football. But again, lots of exciting things. All 6 teams that headed into Thanksgiving were actually coming off a Week 11 loss, so that was pretty interesting to look out for. Also, Matt Nagy's job security coming in question. We've also seen a firing already with Jason Garrett going bye-bye, so lots, again, to look out for with many teams trying to look into the postseason of football, making their mark. All right, fellas, let's get into the first game. We've got the Cleveland Browns versus the Baltimore Ravens. The Baltimore Ravens are 3-point home favorites tonight versus the Cleveland Browns. The total in this game is 47. Baltimore gets back Action Jackson while Baker Mayfield gets back Kareem Hunt. The last time Baker played the Ravens, he averaged more than 6 yards per rush and had a touchdown. Can he repeat this success tonight? Important to know, Ravens wide receiver Marquis Brown, Hollywood Brown, is likely to play. And Jaime, since you're welcoming us back and coming back to us, why don't we start with you and what are your thoughts on this game?
Maybe there's just a gut feeling that I have, but it feels like whenever the Ravens play on Sunday Night Football, or really any night game that they play on, there's always a lot of points and always a lot of weirdness that happens in those games. And I'm expecting that to happen here again tonight. I'm taking the over on 47 points. These two teams in their last 5 matchups have averaged 59 points per game. They haven't had a single game below 45 points since 2018. I think despite the fact that both of these offenses have at times struggled, I think this night atmosphere is going to be really good for point scoring. Give me the over on 47.
Nothing like a night football between these AFC North division rivals. And like you said, when these two teams play, it's been pretty exciting football games. We've got 2 of the great young quarterbacks in the NFL matching up. And I think many in Baltimore are excited that Lamar Jackson will be back under center. Brentley, give me your thoughts on this game as well.
Yeah, this should be a really good game. As you guys both mentioned, when these two teams do play, fireworks are always happen. The AFC North is always close games. But I think one team in particular is really trending the wrong way, and that's the Cleveland Browns. Baker Mayfield just simply isn't playing the caliber of football that's necessary to win football games. They really struggled last week against Detroit. They were held scoreless in the second half. And look, Baker Mayfield, he's not great when he's healthy. But now he's dealing with a groin injury, a shoulder injury, a foot injury. He really shouldn't even be playing. They should probably play Case Keenum, but we know they're not going to do that. So he'll try to gut it out against the Baltimore defense, which can be scored upon through the air, but what they're really good at is stopping the run. So given the fact that Baker's hurt, we know that they're going to try to rely on Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, who's making his return. The Ravens have the second best rushing defense in the NFL. I think they do enough to slow down this rushing game, forcing the Browns to be one-dimensional and go through the air, which is going to be bad news for the Browns. So give me the Ravens -3 at home. Look for Lamar Jackson to have a big game in his return.
Yeah, Lamar Jackson returning, which is probably scary because we know how good he can be when fully healthy. And like you said, Baker not being 100%. But there is one person, Brentley, who believes in Brentley and Baker Mayfield, and that's his wife. His wife has been coming to Baker's defense. So at least he has one person in his corner. But time will tell how he does today. For my pick, the game opened up with the Ravens as 4.5-point favorites. But of course, that number was bet down to where it currently is at Ravens -3. On Thursdays, some shops move the Ravens number to Ravens -4. I think that's where it closes possibly. And I'm looking for Baltimore to win big against its division rival. All right, so I have Ravens -3, and best believe Lamar Jackson coming back will make a difference. And definitely the Baltimore fans feel it, even though many were proud of the job that Snoop did last week filling in for Lamar Jackson. Did we ever find out what that illness was? I feel like we still don't know what Lamar was suffering from, but whatever it was, we're glad that he's doing better. It's still a mystery. We just don't know. All right, well, let's go on to a game that's not a mystery and go to our next matchup. We've got the Los Angeles Rams taking on the Green Bay Packers. Even though the Rams are coming off back-to-back losses, they are 2.5-point favorites today versus the Packers. The total in this one is 46.5. Something to keep an eye on is that it's been reported that Rams quarterback Matthew Stafford is, quote, all banged up and has been dealing with a sore ankle, also pain in his throwing arm and elbow, and back pain that has been described as chronic. Geez, wow. Rams are also going to be playing in those frigid temperatures at Lambeau Field, which might be cause for concern. Brentley, let's start with your thoughts on this matchup.
Yeah, I mean, this is a huge game in the NFC. You know, both of these teams are coming off a loss. The Packers lost to the Vikings last week. And the last time we saw the Rams play, they got blown out by the 49ers. And before that, they were blown out by the Titans. So both of these teams' backs are kind of against the wall. But I think the Rams are in a much more dire need to get a win, in my opinion, because they didn't just lose to the Titans and the 49ers. They got blown out and just didn't look right at all. So I think they need to right the ship here. And I think today's game is a great opportunity to do so. I like the Rams -2.5. The Packers are really banged up, especially up front along the offensive line. They lost left tackle Elton Jenkins last week to a torn ACL. This loss can't be overstated. He was playing really well, filling in for David Bakhtiari. And now that he's out, given the fact that Aaron Rodgers is dealing with some sort of toe injury, it's not COVID toe. We don't know what it is, but he's clearly hobbled. The fact that they're going to be down their left tackle, their center Josh Myers is going to be out as well. Going up against Aaron Donald, Von Miller in this group of Rams pass rushers, I think is bad news for Rodgers and co. Look for Stafford, who's banged up, to bounce back. I do believe he'll do enough to play better. Darrell Henderson is going to be big today. I like the Rams getting a must-win on the road against the banged-up Packers.
Yeah, I think it's a solid pick. And also, I don't care who wins this game. I just cannot see Aaron Rodgers' toe anymore. I feel like everyone wanted to send it right when you're about to eat. But, give Aaron Rodgers, I guess, a foot modeling contract since he wants to put it everywhere. I don't know what it is, the new profile picture. But Aaron Rodgers, yeah, we've seen enough of your feet. Jamie, give me your thoughts on this matchup as well.
Yeah, I'm going to go the other way here. This is actually one of my favorite contrarian bets of the week. I'm going to take the Packers money line here. And I got to see that the Rams and Matthew Stafford can play in the cold before I'm going to give them the credit as road favorites here. The Rams have lost 3 of their last 4 games that were below 40 degrees. And Stafford himself, again, you think, oh, well, he played in the NFC North. He played in Detroit, but he was a dome quarterback. He's lost 4 of his last 5 games outdoors in weather below 40 degrees. I still think the Rams are trying to figure out their running game more. The loss of Robert Woods has hurt them in all aspects of their offense. Both quarterbacks are a little bit banged up, but I think the Aaron Rodgers stuff is a little bit more him being dramatic than it being a major injury I'm overly concerned about. I expect this to be a close game, and the Packers to sneak one out at home here in the end.
All right. Thank you, Jamie. And yeah, those cold temperatures in Green Bay remind me why I love playing indoor sports the most growing up. Like the weather can be a game changer. For my pick in this game, you guys have kind of said it. Look, the Rams and Packers playing this weekend. I'd say marquee matchup. We're pretty much looking forward to this game. Brentley, you mentioned it. Los Angeles is looking to snap a 2-game losing streak. Green Bay, of course, has lost 2 of its last 3 games, which you all have said. The Rams are 4-1 on the money line on the road this season. I hate to bet against Aaron Rodgers. We know how great he is, but I do think the Rams need the game more. We know what they're trying to battle back from. So I would not lay the number, but instead the money line. Give me Rams at -2.5 for this game. Notice, Brentley, I said good pick because me and you are in alignment this week for this one. So looking forward to this matchup. And also, by the way, OBJ, congratulations on the baby news. Wanted to also shout that out. All right, let's head up. Oh, Brentley, you didn't see the news? Yes, OBJ's.
No, I didn't see that. It's news to me.
So new dad, hopefully something rubs off on this team. All right, let's head to our next matchup. We've got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers facing off against the Indianapolis Colts. The Red Hat Colts are 3-point home underdogs today versus the visiting Buccaneers. The total in this game is 52.5. Indy recently passed the 500 mark at 6-5. With last Sunday's blowout win over Buffalo, it was revealed that Colts leading rusher Jonathan Taylor was on the short list of candidates whom the Buccaneers considered possibly with the number 14 overall pick in the 2020 NFL draft. Maybe you're regretting that now, as the Colts boast one of the best offensive weapons in the NFL in Taylor, with some in Indy even yelling MVP behind his name. The Bucs will try to avoid their third consecutive road loss against the scorching hot Colts. Give me your pick on this one, Jamie, for this matchup.
So you know my thoughts on the Tampa Bay taking them against the spread. So I'm going to take the Buccaneers money line here. And I think the biggest thing is they're going to be able to limit Jonathan Taylor somewhat. They're not going to shut him down, but that's the best piece of the Colts offense right now. That's the best piece of Tampa's defense, is their run defense. So I think if they're able to limit, just contain Jonathan Taylor to have a decent or even a good game, Tom Brady and company will have enough on the other side to put up enough points to win this game here in Indianapolis. The Bucs also 11-3 overall straight up as favorites in their last 14 games. I think they keep that streak going in a very close game.
Limiting Jonathan Taylor might not make some fantasy owners happy right now when you say that, Jamie. But Brentley, give me your picks on this matchup.
You know, I'm actually a Jonathan Taylor fantasy holder. So he's actually, so guys, I was 0-5 for the year, and now I'm 6-5. And it's largely due to Jonathan Taylor and what he's able to do. So shout out Jonathan Taylor, but I am going to go against you today. I like the Bucs here. I'm covering -3. Look, to me, this comes down to what defensive line is going to step up. Can the Colts generate a pass rush to disrupt Brady and get him off his spot? I'm going to say no, unfortunately. The Colts are bottom 3 in the league in pass rush percentage, so they're not really getting home at a high rate. On the Bucs end, can this defensive line do enough to stop Jonathan Taylor or at least limit him? I'm going to say yes. They're getting Vita Vea back, which is a huge piece in the middle of their defense. Quentin Nelson, while he's going to play, he's clearly not going to be 100%. That's a huge issue to me. I think the Buccaneers are going to do enough to make the Colts offense a little bit more one-dimensional than they would like. If the Bucs jump to an early lead and force Carson Wentz to throw the football, that's advantage Bucs. So give me the Bucs here with the points -3. I think they get a win, and it's pretty convincingly, in my opinion.
All right, thank you, Brentley. And for my pick in this game, you guys have basically alluded to it, but look, the Colts are trying to make that late season playoff push, winning, as I mentioned, 5 of their 6 last games. We cannot discredit that. All 3 of the Buccaneers' losses this season have come on the road. In fact, Tampa is 0-5 against the spread as road favorites this year, so something to keep in mind. The Colts, however, are not great at home. It's just facts. They are 3-3 against the spread on the money line. Frank's squad won't be able to run the ball, I think, as you all are mentioning, as well as they normally do against a strong Tampa Bay rushing defense. All right. I believe in defense. Defense wins championships. Tampa Bay did that last year. I like the Bucs to get the road win. Give me Buccaneers -3 for my pick in this one. So once again, Brentley, alignment. We are continuing that trend. All right, let's head to our next matchup, fellas. We're going back to the AFC North. We've got the Pittsburgh Steelers versus Cincinnati Bengals. The Bengals are 3.5-point favorites today when they host their AFC North rival Steelers. The total in this game opened at 45.5, and it's now down to 43.5. Bengals sit at 6-4, coming off a major win in Las Vegas. Back in Week 3, the Bengals stole a win in Pittsburgh, so the Steelers are looking to do the same today in Cincinnati. Lots of eyes will be on rookie wide receiver Jamar Chase for Cincy. But on the other end, Steelers are expected to get back some of their top defenders who can make game-changing plays today. Let's start with you on this one, Brentley.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite games of the weekend. I think this is a classic Steeler win. This is a very classic Mike Tomlin game. Mike Tomlin as an underdog is 42-20-2 in his career. So you will love to back Mike Tomlin when he's an underdog. Big Ben, who's coming off arguably his best game in like 2 years against the Chargers last weekend, is looking pretty good. His offensive playmakers are balling. Deontay Johnson, Chase Claypool. Pat Frymuth is really starting to step up. And Big Ben, he is sensational playing in the state of Ohio, and particularly sensational against the Bengals. He's 24-9 all time against the Bengals, against the spread. So I just really like the Steelers in this spot. You know, they're getting healthy, as you mentioned. Minka Fitzpatrick making his return, TJ Watt's making his return. And while I have respect for the Bengals, I'm not comfortable with them, as a 3.5 point favorite, even at home. So giving me the Steelers in the points, I wouldn't be surprised to see a Steelers money line win just straight up.
All right. Thank you, Brentley. And like you said, Big Ben getting the mojo back right in time when it's needed most. Jamie, give me your pick in this matchup as well.
Yeah, I'm going to go a little bit off the board here. I'm going to take the first half over 20.5 points. Both of these defenses have struggled, in particular early in games. They're averaging about 27.1 combined points per game allowed just in the first half. I know these offenses have been a little bit prone to some slow starts lately, but I'm going to bet on the poor defense early in this game, getting at least 3 touchdowns here in this first half. So I really like this, as Kelsey, as you mentioned, as the total has dropped throughout the week overall. This first half total has dipped below 3 touchdowns. So I'm all in on this one.
All right. Thank you, Jamie. And for my pick in this matchup, as we said, again, I love a good AFC North rival clash. I grew up with AFC North football when the Bengals and Steelers meet for the second time this season in today's game. The Bengals won the first matchup, as I mentioned. That was 24-10 in Pittsburgh. Cincinnati, of course, as I mentioned, coming off the victory in Las Vegas. Pittsburgh coming off that loss versus the Chargers. Bengals are 0-2 against the spread as a home favorite this season. So all things considered to say, give me Steelers at +3.5 for my pick in this matchup for this game. Again, it's going to be a great one. I feel like AFC North games, you can never go wrong. Lots of good football being played today. And as we talk about good football, let's go to our next matchup. We've got the Minnesota Vikings taking on the San Francisco 49ers. And this one, the 49ers, who have struggled at home this season, are 3.5 point favorites this afternoon versus the Vikings. The 5-5 Minnesota Vikings hit the road to face the 5-5 San Francisco 49ers in a game that could prove to be pivotal as we begin to look at the wild card race and, yes, the postseason. The total for this contest is 49. The 49ers are averaging about 160 yards rushing over the past 2 games, and they face a Vikings defense that ranks near the bottom of the run by most defensive metrics. 49ers offensive line also headlined by one of the best tackles in the league in Trent Williams. Washington football team fans, I know you all are still salty over him, so we won't go deep into the Trent Williams saga. That being said, Jamie, give me your pick for this matchup.
I like the Vikings here. As long as they're getting a field goal and a hook, they are 5-1 against the spread this year as underdogs, 4-1 against the spread on the road. And it's been a weird team this year. Like they've had leads at one point of every single game that they have been in, and their record does not quite indicate that. I think this is going to be a close game. I think the Niners are not as good as people want them to be. And despite the way they've played in recent weeks, I want to see if that trend continues. They haven't been a particularly great home team this season. So I think the Vikings keep this game close. They probably have a lead at some point in this game. And we're talking about this coming down to 2 or 3 points at the very end. So as long as I'm still getting the field goal and the hook here, give me the Vikings and the points.
All right. Thank you, Jamie. Brentley, what about you on this one?
Yeah, I'm going with Jamie. I like the Vikings +3.5 here. As he mentioned, the Vikings, all they do is play in close games. I think every single game that they've played in except one has ended in less than 1 score. So they always play teams close. I think this is a very evenly matched game. You know, the Niners admittedly are a different team than they were before when George Kittle was out. George Kittle just makes such a difference for this offense, whether it's as a receiver or a run blocker. So they are playing some good football. I just still have a lot of questions about their defense, particularly in the secondary, going up against Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen, Kirk Cousins, who's playing absolutely lights out right now. I think there's simply too much firepower for this 49ers defense. And then really Shanahan as a favorite, is pretty terrible. I think he's 10, 22, and 1 all time against the spread. So he is not a good coach you want to back as a favorite. And then as Jamie mentioned, they are terrible playing at home for the past 2 years. I think this season they're just 1-4, but like over the past 2 years, I think they've won like 3 games at home. It's nuts. So give me the Vikings plus 3.5. I love getting the points here in what should be a close game.
It's good to see you all in alignment. And for my pick, I am going to go with, look, I just feel like this feels like a trap game to me. I just got to be honest. The Niners are 1-4 against the spread and on the money line at home this season. San Francisco is 3-5 against the spread as favorites this season. Odd makers know this, yet San Francisco is still a 3.5-point home favorite. The Vikings are a trendy underdog this week, so this is just too good of a spot to fade them. I would rather bet the over, all right, on the total for this game. Games this season in which the Niners have been the favorite have cashed in over 5 out of the 8 times, all right, 5 out of the 8 times. So in this one, give me over 49 for my pick in this matchup. Ooh, lots of great football to be played today. We'll have to see how we do, fellas, later on the leaderboard. But until then, Brentley and Jamie, that's a wrap on our top NFL game picks. Coming up next, we've got the prop bet player wheel. You need to spin it to win it. Stay tuned because more of the Money Down is next. into the Money Down NFL show presented by BetPrep on the Draft Network's YouTube channel with Jaime Eisner, Brentley Weissman, and myself, Kelsey Nicole Nelson, continuing to hold things down this week. It's almost time to spin our props bet wheel, but before we get there, we do have some exciting news to share regarding college football. And hey, after the great slate of college football games that we had yesterday, I promise you, you're going to want to join in with us. So not to wish the rest of the NFL week away, but again, we are excited to announce that the Draft Network's Draft Dudes are hitting the road next weekend to bring the party to the SEC Championship in Atlanta, Georgia. The guys will be taking their wagers, all right, on the road with the Draft Network and Bud Light Seltzer on the December 4th game. All right, you guys. So make sure you guys join in with us December 4th. We're going to be bringing you on an incredible game day experience before Georgia and Alabama face off in the SEC title game at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. We've got Kyle Krabs, Joe Marino, and the TDN team will be hanging out with you all, playing games, all right, talking football, and also giving away some swag. Who doesn't love free swag? And enjoying Bud Light Seltzers, all right across the street from Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Make sure you note this down in the CSX lot all afternoon before the big game. So join us in the CSX lot all before the big game. Join the crew in Atlanta for an afternoon of fun and football with the Draft Network and Bud Light Seltzer on Saturday at the SEC Championship game. I feel like I'm super excited for this, y'all. It's coming up. I can't believe we're at championship football time. I mean, gonna be lots of fun. You guys are going down, right?
I'll be there.
All right. So you guys get to see Jaime in color in person.
Yeah. Yep. Should be a good time.
All right, it's going to be fun. All right, so now that we've done lots of previewing for an exciting Saturday that we can't wait to see you all at, let's talk about now switching over our excitement to our wheel of player props. All right, so we're going to turn to our wheel. Let's go to the wheel now so we can see our first player prop. As I put Brentley and Jaime head to head, we're spinning, and we're now, the Indianapolis Colts, and we are talking about quarterback Carson Wentz, over under on passing yards.
Jaime, I'm going to go the over here, and I'm kind of contradicting myself a little bit from earlier. As I mentioned, if the Buccaneers get Carson Wentz to start throwing the ball a lot, that's advantage Bucks. Well, I still think that's true. I also think Wentz can do enough to gain yards against this Bucs secondary, which simply isn't great. I think the Buccaneers are going to be focused on stopping their run, allowing for room for Wentz through the air.
Yeah, this is interesting because obviously we talked a lot about the Bucs defense earlier, but I do think the Colts are content to run their heads into a brick wall as early and often as possible. And I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing because Jonathan Taylor is that good of a talent. But look, Carson Wentz, to me, he hasn't averaged more than 225 yards per game since 2019. He's gone under this total in 8 of his 11 games this year. I know the Buccaneers secondary is vulnerable, but I just haven't seen Carson Wentz do this enough for me to confidently take the over. Give me the under on 250.5.
You guys both make very great, very valid points, but you know what? Today I'm putting my faith into Carson Wentz. Give me the over, Brentley. I'm taking your side on this one. I do believe the Colts will have to pass versus the Buccaneers defense today. All right, Carson, make us look good. We're live on the show, so make us look good. All right, let's head back to our wheel, and we're going to spin it to win it once again. This time we're spinning, and we're landing on, Philadelphia Eagles, and we're talking about Miles Sanders, over under on rushing yards.
Brentley, let me start here. I'm going to take the over. And I know there's not a lot of information outside of last week to really say that Miles Sanders is going to have a monster game. But we have seen an overall recommitment to the running game from Nick Sirianni and company in Philadelphia in recent weeks. It continued with Miles Sanders' return last week. No Jordan Howard in this game. And I know if you're a Giants fan, you're absolutely petrified of Boston Scott, who absolutely owns New York. And there's that weird little storyline that goes along there. But Miles Sanders is clearly the starter at the betting running back. Give me the over on 65.5.
Yeah, this is tough. I just feel like 65.5 is a lot of yards. Like, that's not a small number for me. So I'm going under here. I think the Eagles are going to have success throwing the ball. Jalen Hurts is playing really good football. Devontae Smith is coming into his own. Dallas Goedert. I don't think Sanders is going to get the volume. And I get, Sirianni is committing to the run, but in today's matchup against the Giants, I expect a more pass-happy attack. So take him the under.
All right. So in this one, I'm actually going to go with Jaime. I'm going to take the over. I do believe that the Eagles should be able to move the ball on the ground versus the Giants. All right. So I'm 1-1 right now. Let's see if we can see who's going to get this tiebreaker for me with our next one. Let's head back to the wheel. We're spinning. And this time we are landing on the New England Patriots. And we're talking about quarterback Mac Jones over under on passing yards.
Jaime, I'm going under here, and even though this is a really small number, just 225.5 passing yards, I just simply don't think the Patriots are going to need to do a lot to beat the Titans. I mean, the Titans literally have zero offensive playmakers. I think the Patriots can afford to kind of sit back, run the football, play good defense, and get a convincing win. The Titans' pass rush is pretty good, and that's also another reason why I think McDaniels and Belichick are going to want to be more conservative to run the ball.
I might look foolish here in a few hours, and I do think the Patriots are going to win. I just don't think this is going to be the blowout everybody else thinks. I do think they're going to have to try in this game. I do think they're going to win, but I don't think this is going to be a 14, 20-point game or something where they're just not throwing the ball at all. Tennessee's a bottom 10 defense in the NFL, allowing 253 passing yards per game. This is a low number, and I understand, hey, if you think the Patriots are going to blow them out, they're just going to run Stevenson and Damian Harrison to the ground. But I do think the Patriots are actually going to have to compete in this game, and Mac Jones can get over the number.
All right, so in this one, I'm going to have to go with the under. I'm sorry, Jaime. I'm siding with Brentley. And also, Jaime, you can never look foolish. Don't you ever say that about yourself again.
Oh, I certainly can. The show's not over yet.
That is fair. That is fair criticism. I'm taking the under, though. But look, Jones hasn't thrown for this many yards since week 7, and I don't see it happening today. All right, so that's why I am taking the under in this one. Let's head back to our wheel. We're about to spin it, and let's see who we've got next. We're spinning, and it looks like this time we are landing on, LA. A lot to talk around this team. We're talking about Darrell Henderson over under on rushing yards.
I'm going to go under here. He's gone under in his 3 of his last 4 games, and maybe the more surprising fact, only averaging 11.3 carries per game in that span. I do think the Rams should run the ball more, but the loss of Robert Woods as a blocker in the run game has affected them. As I mentioned earlier, I do think the Packers win this game, so this is not going to be a scenario where I think there's a lot of garbage time to just hand the ball off. I think Stafford's going to have to throw a lot more than they want him to. Sony Michel's going to get some mixed in time here. I think Henderson gets close, but not over this total.
Yeah, I'm going over here, and I think it's out of necessity. I think the Rams in the past 2 weeks have just gone away from their identity, really looked terrible against Titans and 49ers, and it's because they're not running the football. I think in order to get a win today in cold Lambeau with the banged-up Stafford, they're going to have to commit to the run. They're going to have to feed Henderson, and I think he can deliver in hitting this prop and helping, the Rams cover, hopefully.
Yeah, I am looking at the Rams also trying to refine their identity and get back to Rams football. I'm also going to take the over. I like Henderson to play a big role today. All right, let's head back to our wheel and see who we've got next and who you guys will be talking about. We're spinning, and it looks like it's going to land on, we're going to Cleveland and the Cleveland Browns. Talking about Nick Chubb, over, under on rushing yards.
Jaime, I'm going under here, and this is tough because I love Nick Chubb, and I get Baker Mayfield's banged up. They're going to want to commit to the run. But as I mentioned, the Ravens' run defense is really, really good. They're number 2 in the NFL. I think they're just allowing, 70 yards per rush or per game. I mean, it's phenomenal. Also, I think the return of Kareem Hunt is going to cut into Nick Chubb's rushing total. So give me the under here, but it could be close.
Yeah, this is tough because you said the Ravens' run defense is good. Kareem Hunt's coming back. Those are all reasons to avoid it. But sometimes you just want to bet on the player and bet on the player's talent. Nick Chubb has gone over this total in 7 of his last 8 games. And if the Browns are going to compete in this game, which I think they will, as I took the over earlier, they're going to need some big performances from Nick Chubb, particularly between the 20s, to move the ball down the field. I do think this is probably not one of his best games, but I do think he can get over this 80.5 yard total, probably into the 90s.
All right, thank you both. And for this one, I'm going to do the under for this one, all right? I think it will go under with Kareem Hunt likely returning to action tonight. I do think that will make a difference as we look at this matchup. All right, fellas, I always love putting you two head-to-head. I love spinning our wheel. Again, you have to spin it to win it, so you guys continue to stay tuned. We've got more of the Money Down. We've got a special guest joining us next, so we'll be right back right here on the Money Down, presented by the Draft Network. Stay tuned. Thank you so much for staying with us, and welcome back to the Money Down, airing live on the Draft Network's YouTube channel, presented by BetPrep. It's now time to welcome in Patrick Everson of Props US in conjunction with BetPrep for the BetPrep breakdown. Patrick, welcome to the show. First off, how was your Thanksgiving? And more importantly, how did you enjoy Thanksgiving football?
I didn't enjoy Thanksgiving football. We had family, and we did family parlays on every game, and we got our butts kicked. So that didn't go well. But the day itself as a whole was good. Good family, awesome food. Italian sausage and the stuffing is like to die for. I'm telling you right now. Marry Italian if you can.
I will make sure I add that to my recipe list for next year's Thanksgiving. But Patrick, glad you all enjoyed, and hopefully better luck next year with the parlays. So let's get into it, Patrick. We've got lots of great football today. First game I want to talk with you about is the Baltimore Ravens facing off against the Cleveland Browns. We know this is an AFC North divisional matchup. We've got Lamar Jackson returning, Marquis Brown expected to play. So I want to ask you, Patrick, where is the money on the Ravens versus Browns game?
Yeah, this is really close. And there's a few of these games this week, Kelsey. A lot of these short spreads, and they're actually getting two-way action in several cases. And this is one of those games. At BetMGM Nevada, this was a game I talked about with Scott Shelton. And this went from Ravens 4.5 to 3.5. Money late last night. Now, remember, this is a Sunday night game. This is going to build up all day today. So I think there's going to be a decision here. And I think that parlays and teasers, well, maybe not teasers so much, but parlays, money line parlays and so forth, are probably going to run to Baltimore. So if the favorites have a good day, keep an eye out for that. That's going to be a big decision for the books potentially. But at the moment, two-way action of multiple books on this game. BetMGM Nevada, literally money was literally within $100, which is obviously very, very close. But ticket count was favoring the Ravens by a 2-1. And even parlays and teasers actually here at BetMGM Nevada were running toward Baltimore. Again, I don't think that's going to necessarily be the case nationally, but a pretty good two-way game at this point with several hours to go until kickoff.
Yes, we're definitely counting down until kickoff. Like you said, lots can change in that time between. But let's head to our next game I want to talk with you about, Patrick. That's the Los Angeles Rams facing off against the Green Bay Packers. The report came out about quarterback Matt Stafford being, quote, Patrick, all banged up. So I think that's something to keep an eye on. But where is the money on the Rams versus Packers game?
Right. This is kind of an interesting game. It depends on what book you're at, but this is, generally speaking, from a couple of books that reported to me this morning, this game was seeing two-way action, and honestly, the money was leaning toward the Rams at multiple books, and this line has moved toward the Rams throughout the course of the week. Open Packer at BetMGM Nevada, open Packers -2.5, got all the way to Rams -1.5. Now, there was a significant Rams play, I can tell you, at BetMGM Nevada as well that helped kind of move that along. In fact, well, we'll get to that. We'll get to the other significant play in a moment. We haven't touched that game yet. But tickets were pretty close, but money skewed at BetMGM Nevada because of that one large play. The book is going to potentially need the Packers here, at least at BetMGM Nevada and potentially at other books across the country as well. But I'll tell you what, I don't think that's a bad spot to be in. Not only just needing the Packers at home when you've got Aaron Rodgers at quarterback, but needing the Packers at home with Aaron Rodgers at quarterback, and it's going to be cold. It's windy, it's cold, it's not going to be fun to play out there today. I feel like the books are probably comfortable with the position of needing. The books that need the Packers are probably comfortable with that position.
All right, thank you, Patrick. And like you said, that cold weather can make a difference. That Green Bay cold is a whole different type of cold if you've never experienced it. The next game, Patrick, I want to talk with you about is the Tennessee Titans facing off against the New England Patriots. Patriots, of course, entered this game tied for first in the AFC East. And while the Titans have the top record in the AFC, they also have a lot of injuries on that Titans side of the football. All that being said, what are you hearing on the Titans versus Patriots game?
Yeah, this is pretty interesting. This went from Patriots 6.5 to 7. Now 7 -120 at BetMGM Nevada. And here at BetMGM Nevada, almost 2-1 tickets. And the money is huge on the Patriots. But again, this is skewed dramatically at BetMGM Nevada by a large Patriots wager. Now that said, I talked to Jason Scott. He's the vice president of trading for BetMGM nationwide. The money's not quite as skewed on the Patriots, but it's definitely leaning pretty solidly toward New England in this game. And he said New England is a loser for the book, no question. And BetMGM is going to need the Titans in this contest. And, banged up and all, they need the Titans to try, to at least cover that number for them, if not find a way to pull the outright upset against a very hot New England Patriots team.
That's right. Everyone's talking about the Patriots right now. They've been that team that's kind of crept along. And like you said, lots of injuries on the Titan side of the football, but it is a next man up league. You have to prove your worth in the National Football League. Patrick, let's go to our last game I want to talk with you about. We've got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers facing off against the Indianapolis Colts. Colts have won 5 of their last 6 games. The Colts have been that team now that's getting hot, maybe at the right time. What are you hearing on the Buccaneers versus Colts game?
Yeah, I'll give you kind of the BetMGM Nevada and the BetMGM National view, which are somewhat similar. But BetMGM Nevada, Bucks 1.5 to 1 tickets and money 2 to 1 on the Bucks. The short favorite here, -3, -105 right now. Nationally, actually, the Bucks are the largest liability for BetMGM among this early slate of kickoffs, among these handful of games going off in just a little bit here. Jason Scott said the Colts are our biggest need of the early slate at this point, and nationwide at BetMGM, the Bucs are number one in ticket count and number one in money. So definitely piling on Tom Brady and co. on the road in this game. I think there might be a little opportunity with the Colts here. We'll see. That's a team that went to Buffalo last week and had a lot of fun, and now they're at home this week. So definitely an interesting game.
Yeah, lots of people talking about the Indianapolis Colts down. Like you said, playing some good football, so definitely one to watch. Patrick, as always, we appreciate your time. Thanks so much for joining us. It's always a blast. We can't wait to see you next week, and to everyone tuning in. Coming up next, we've got our Go for Two picks and this week's bold bet. So stay tuned to the Draft Network because more of the Money Down is next. Hello, everyone, and welcome back into the Money Down, where we will now turn our attention to the leaderboard after last week's football action. Jamie and Brentley, are you guys ready to see our leaderboard?
Yeah, let's do it.
Brentley's like, baby. Oh, Brentley. All right, Brentley, we've got to do better, especially me. I'm putting the onus on myself. This is embarrassing. I don't even want to see it anymore. It's just that ugly. My week just went from great to worse now. So thanks, everyone. But I will make a redemption, all right? I'm saying it live on the show. We've got to do better.
You can only do better.
We can only go up from here. And Brentley, I had just said last week, I thought it was like lucky number 11. It was not lucky to us. So I don't know. I don't believe that 11-11 stuff anymore. All right. Now that we've looked at our leaderboard, fellas, let's get ready to go for our Go for Two picks. And we'll start with you on this one, Jamie, once again, because we're excited to have you back. We missed you for the last 2 weeks. So, Jamie, give us your first Go for Two pick.
Yeah, I'm going to go with a rookie here. I like Jalen Waddle's over. This was originally 45.5. It is now up to 50.5. I still like the over here. Averaging more than 9 targets per game this season, averaging 65.2 yards per game here as I check my notes. He has been heavily involved in that offense, gets a ton of work. And this number was simply too low when it opened, and I still think it's too low right now. He has gone over even this updated total in the majority of his games this season.
All right. Thank you, Jamie. Wishing you luck on that one. And now, Brentley, give us your first Go for Two pick.
Yeah, it's a game I talked about earlier, and it's going back to the Pittsburgh game, plus 3.5 on the road to Cincinnati. To me, this just makes too much sense. Back in Tomlin as an underdog, as I mentioned, is very profitable. He's 42-20-2 overall against the spread as an underdog. This is just a spot you want to back the Steelers in. They're getting healthy. TJ Watt, Minkah Fitzpatrick all returning. And while I have a ton of respect for Cincinnati and what they've been able to do this year, covering 3.5, you have to win by more than a field goal against the Steelers, which a team that traditionally has beat them. I can't do it. So taking the points here plus 3.5. And again, I wouldn't be surprised to see the Steelers outright win.
And as you said, Brentley, a word that we love on the show, very profitable. So I like that you chose a profitable pick, all right? Because we like to win money on the show. For my Go for Two pick, this is a game that probably won't have as many NFL red zone look-ins. I'm talking about the Carolina Panthers facing off against the Miami Dolphins. Both Miami and Carolina are 7-4 to the under the season. Carolina does tend to play better on the road, but over the past 2 seasons, they are 10-3 against the spread. On the road, the Panthers have won their last 2 road games straight up too. So something to look for. Give me the Panthers -2 for my first Go for Two pick this game. But again, not expecting many people to be finding on Red Zone, tuning into this game to watch all of the action that we shall get. All right, let's go to our next Go for Two picks. I will start with you on this one, Brentley.
Yeah, I'm going to the Patriots Titans game. I'm going under. I think the line was at 43.5 points, if I'm not mistaken. But, so under 43, excuse me. And it just comes down to this. The Titans are just a mess offensively. and that's only going to get worse. Without A.J. Brown, their star receivers put on IR, I think, yesterday. Obviously, we know they have no Derrick Henry. They cut Adrian Peterson, so bad karma's coming to them for cutting AP. So I just don't think they're going to be able to do a ton on offense. And then the Patriots, they're happy to play a low-scoring game, run the ball, play good defense, and kind of keep the ball on the ground and not have their rookie quarterback forced into perhaps compromising situations. So look for this to be a defensive showdown, very, very low-scoring game. I'd be surprised if this game gets into the 30s.
Just when we got AP back, he's gone. He's gone in an instant. It hurts. It hurts to say goodbye. All right, Jamie, give me your second go for 2 pick for this week's matchups.
So this one's interesting. I'll keep the wide receiver theme here because I could tell you that he's gone over in 6 of his last 10 games on this total. I could tell you he's averaging 70-plus yards per game. I just feel a big game coming for Mike Williams. I'm going to take the over on his 55.5 receiving yards. He looked a little bit healthier last week. He's had a lot of success against Denver in the past, even before the new role that he's been used in this year. I just expect a big game from Mike Williams. He can get this on one play if he needs to. I'm excited to go with both of my wide receiver props this week.
All right, and the wide receivers, we are trusting make Jamie over here look good. For my second go for 2 pick, I'm looking at the Los Angeles Chargers versus Denver Broncos game. Look, we've got AFC West rivals, Los Angeles and Denver meeting for the first time this season in Denver. The Broncos have won 2 of their last 3 games to crawl, all right, back into the playoff picture. The Chargers are 3-1 against the spread on the road this season, but those against the spread wins came in as the underdog role, all right? Los Angeles 2-4 against the spread as favorites this season. This is a tough game to pick a side on, but we have to do it, and this is why we're on this show. The Chargers are 3-1 to the under on the road. Broncos are 4-1 to the under at home. So give me the under 47.5 for my pick in this matchup for this game. But again, lots of things that we'll have to look forward to because Brentley, we're getting back on the positive next week. And hopefully we do that with our bold bet. So let's now switch over to our bold bet. Brentley, we got to redeem ourselves. Let me start with you on this one. This is redemption time, Brentley. Give me the bold bet that's going to change the future for you in the outlook on next week's leaderboard.
I'm going with the Jacksonville Jaguars as an underdog. I'm taking the Jaguars money line against the Falcons. I'm telling you what, when I watched the Falcons against the Patriots, I think it was last Thursday, I was so disappointed and just impressed by the Falcons. This is a small football team, a slow football team, just not explosive at all on defense. They're terrible. They are absolutely terrible. Deion Jones is out, which is going to make this defense even worse. I was just, I don't even know. So I'm giving the Jaguars. They've shown some fight throughout the season. They're actually a really good run-stopping team, which is something that I know the Falcons are going to want to do with Cordell Patterson coming back. I just think this is a good spot to back the Jaguars. I think Trevor Lawrence can have a lot of success against this defense. So give me the Jaguars in an upset, money line.
All right. Thank you, Brentley. Duval. Maybe we'll get to see it. All right, Jamie, give me your bold bet for this week.
Well, I think both my colleagues on this show have made my points already. I'm going to go with the Pittsburgh Steelers money line here. I'm still not fully bought into Cincinnati as a true contender. They can show me a lot in this game, but the Steelers are playing some pretty good football right now. They're going to be able to run the ball successfully. If Ben Roethlisberger just doesn't have like a horrible game, this should be really close. Pittsburgh's getting a little bit healthier on defense. To me, these are 2 very evenly matched teams, but I need to see Cincinnati actually do it before I back them, particularly when they're getting more than 3 at home.
All right. Thank you, Jamie. And for my bold bet, I am going to take the alternate spread and boost the Bucs to -9.5. That's plus 210 on points bet. I think Brady and the Bucs really beat up the Colts today. You guys heard it here first. Former bold bet. And besides, I want to get back on the positive for that leaderboard. So I'm feeling confident in this week's bold bet takes today. Fellas, all right, hopefully we're all just back happy next week. We all want to be on the positive side of things. But as always, Brentley and Jamie, thank you so much. And thank you to all of you for tuning in to another episode of The Money Down. We appreciate you guys, as always, for staying with us all show long. We're back next Sunday at 11:45 a.m. Eastern Time. The Money Down NFL show presented by BetPrep. On Saturday mornings, also check out the Money Down College show ahead of a full slate of college football. By the way, all of those Michigan fans, talk to them nicely after that win. As always, please be sure to hit the subscribe button down below. See you all next show. Bye, guys.